honored to have with us today Sheriff Richard Mack from Arizona. He's got a lot of experience in the fight against the deep state, or whatever you want to call it. And we wanted him to come on and really talk about deportations and the sheriff's role in that. Welcome, Sheriff. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. Well, again, Todd, thanks so much for having me. There's so much going on in our country right now. I'm grateful that Trump is in there, but we have so much work to do yet. But if you'd have told me in the first 100 days he would have the border secured as much as it is right now, I would have said that's a huge accomplishment, and that would be enough for the first 100 days. So even though we have a couple of things that we think he needs to address right away, like defunding Planned Parenthood, which is the most corrupt, illegal funneling of money. It probably breaks about 10 different laws, but it is so illegal to take taxpayer dollars and funnel it $700 million a year to a private club, a private organization that provides no government service whatsoever. And then Planned Parenthood funnels that money back to the politicians who funneled it to them for their campaign coffers. It couldn't be more corrupt.
There's a lot of circular money laundering going on with all of these NGOs and those types of organizations. Yeah. On the deportations, I agree with you. The border is huge and a massive accomplishment. But the deportations have not been as quick, I think, as some people want. And a lot of that is due to the judiciary coup against presidential power and lack of funding. Do you see any other barriers that have been put up to stop the deportations that Trump wants to do?
Well, obviously, the Trump derangement syndrome is going strong against him. We knew this because of history. We knew they would do everything to try to stand in his way and shop activist judges who will do it. Yeah. The law should require, and it already has, but they need to get more specific, that judges, when they make rulings, must quote the provision in the Constitution that they are defending. Instead of Democrat political dogma, they have got to stand for the principles of the Constitution that they all swore an oath to do. And we need to go after more judges. I'm really glad that this Dugan judge lady got arrested, but we need to arrest and investigate many more judges across the country.
Did you see it in your jurisdiction during your time in office? Judges working against the efforts that you were trying to do on the illegal alien front?
Well, yes, but not just illegal aliens. But I sued the federal government. I sued the Clinton administration, won a case at the U.S. Supreme Court, obviously. And by the way, just so all your listeners know, this is a highlighted version of that case. A lady just emailed me this morning who just read the case. And she said, this is the most miraculous case ever. Folks, this is the most powerful 10th Amendment state sovereignty case in the history of America. You all need to get this. It's all available at our website at cspoa.org and discover this amazing freedom SCOTUS ruling that happened back in 1997. And so, yes, we need to move on this, but we need to move our country back. And that's what this helps do. The solution for America is if we go back. The solution is in Independence Hall. It's in our Constitution. It's in the foundation of America. And that's what we've got to get back to. And I hope that we can have our sheriffs join in the effort, because you're talking about speeding up deportation. The sheriffs getting involved in this will be essential to that. Because they know their counties better than anybody in the country. They have posses, they have their people, they have their deputies, even their search and rescue squad. People who know what's going on in the community that can report where these terrorists and cartel cells have located and then get them out of here. And having the sheriffs work together with Tom Homan is essential to making it go bigger, better, and faster.
Have you been happy? I mean, there's been, I think it would be fair to say, mixed results with some of the sheriffs, like in Pinellas and in Florida, that they're really not stopping a lot of the election fraud. In fact, they probably are involved in it, delivering ballots themselves, which is illegal. I mean, on a percentage basis, what amount of the sheriffs across the country do you think are really on Trump's team?
Well, if you look at the map of the country that voted red, It's 80%. You would think that those sheriffs would be backing the people who voted for Trump.
Yeah.
But there's too many timid sheriffs. That's the problem. Oh, I don't want to get involved in any controversy. It might cost me my election and I might lose my pension. We need more sheriffs with just a little bit of courage, with some intestinal fortitude to stand for what's right and to just do one simple thing that they already promised: keep their oath of office, to uphold and the oath of office is an allegiance to the Constitution, to uphold and defend the Constitution. That's what they swore to do. That's all we need them to do. It's really sad that the percentage is right about maybe 30%, a third of the sheriffs doing this. And they're just laying back and hoping not to be part of a controversy instead of doing their job.
Interesting. Let's switch subjects a little bit. Real ID. Your people said this was a big issue for you. Tell us what we need to know about that, because it's being instituted across the country as we speak.
Well, the Real ID actually came to us from President George W., and it was a brainchild of his ridiculous and absurd and unconstitutional Patriot Act, as if there was anything about it that was patriotic. That's a lie. And it passed in 2005, and ever since then, presidents pretty much have ignored it. Obama didn't want to really go with it. Then Biden was pushing it. Trump didn't want it in his first term, and now for some reason they're pushing it. It is a scam. It is a way to keep track of the American people. It does retina and DNA analysis. It keeps all of it on a file. And I've done a lot of traveling, and I fly a lot. For the last 8 months, all the TSA people have warned everybody, and it's been nice. They're nice about it. They say, oh, make sure on May 7th next year, you've got to get your Real ID Act. So I went and got one. And I went to the Arizona DMV, and I was still doing it as just kind of research, because you don't have to use it.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
You can use your passport instead. And I kept my Arizona license that I had before. And so I asked them there. I asked everybody there that I could, what is the difference? Why do we need to do this? And do you know that the state does not have to go along with this?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, it's in my decision. Let me read this to you right out of the order of the court, because all of this case was based on the overreach of the federal government. And Scalia, who wrote this, quoted the New York case of 1992, and it said, quote, "We have held, however, that state legislatures are not subject to federal direction." Federal government is not our boss. And then this is the order of the court. This is Scalia shaking his finger at the federal government. Quote, "The federal government," now this is again the only time in history where sheriffs sued the federal government and won a case at the U.S. Supreme Court against the Clinton administration and against the overreach of the federal government. "The federal government," he said, "may neither issue directives requiring the states to address particular problems, nor command the state's officers or those of their political subdivisions, the DMV, the cities, the counties, the school boards, or those of their political subdivisions to administer or enforce a federal regulatory program." I'm trying to get this in front of President Trump. This decision has not been changed. It has not been rescinded. And the only problem is most people in Washington, D.C. don't even know about this case. President Trump and others in his cabinet need to be aware of this. Kristi Noem needs to be aware of this. It's called state sovereignty, and the federal government is not our boss, and they cannot tell us what to do.
One of the ways I think they get around that is with funding, because and that was part of the issue with education. They took over a lot of the education funding in the local jurisdictions. And then, yes, they can't enforce rules, but if you don't follow them, then they pull your funding. So
I've got a good one for the states to try this.
Okay.
Stop sending money to Washington, D.C., and they won't have money to hold over your head.
Well, there you go.
Where do you think they get it? Besides printing it, they get it from us. And look, I think Trump would be reasonable about this. And I think if somebody showed him Ron Paul's ad about the dangers of the real ID, this is not, it's not going to make us safer. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to keep illegal aliens from getting them. They could go around this very easily. They already have driver's licenses and social security numbers. All they'd have to go in there is show another letter to their address that shows they get insurance or a bill of some kind. You show that, you show your current license, and you get the new one. So it's not going to help what they're thinking. The real ID will stop or prevent.
What else, Sheriff? Is there anything else the American people should be aware of?
Yes, we have a great constitutional sheriff who's been arrested by the Biden FBI back about a year ago. He was convicted this past November, and this injustice, this huge injustice, has got to stop. We've been trying to get it to Trump. Anybody that can help us, please help Sheriff Scott Jenkins from Virginia. We've got to get him a pardon. It was all federal. Of course, the FBI usurps and steals authority, that they're somehow over sheriffs or over local corruption. And there's no agency more corrupt than the FBI except the IRS. We need President Trump's administration to take this bull by the horn and obviously abolish the IRS, get rid of the income tax, and go back to constitutional spending. And we'll have plenty for everybody if we just stop the ridiculous criminal spending that we do in this country.
Well, that's certainly true. With them being able to just print money with the push of a button, that makes it very easy. So,
but we need help for Sheriff Scott Jenkins. Everybody, call your Republican chair in your state, call your senators and congressmen, and say, please get this to Trump. We've got to get this good man out from underneath this. Tina Peters got the same thing, except hers were state charges. This will be a lot easier for a pardon because it's all federal, and Trump could do it with a wave of his pen.
Is there anywhere people can go to find information on this? Any websites?
Well, I don't know if I have it on my website yet, but please email me and I'll get it to you. Sheriff Mack at hotmail.com.
Sheriff, thank you for your time. Really appreciate you taking your time to come on today. Thank you.
Anytime. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.